everyone. Today I'm going to try something a little different and show you a project my art students love to do. I always just called it the line design. You'll need a piece of watercolor paper, any shape, and I'm eyeballing a thin border around all four sides. This will help me attach 4 pieces of tape in a way that looks good. Tape the paper to a piece of cardboard or a wooden board like mine. I'm using blue painter's tape, but masking tape will work too. I like to run my fingernail over it to really make sure it's stuck on there as tightly as possible. Next, I'm getting my palette, my water, and a paper towel. Then, using one of my bigger brushes, I'm getting a few colors ready to go. It's spring where I live, and I'm seeing lots of green and blue skies, so I'm going to paint with those colors. Use whatever you like, but we want to keep this kind of light so you'll be able to see the pen lines later. I'm working quickly and letting the paint do what it wants. If your paper is kind of thin, don't flood it with lots of water, and don't play around too much because that can make the surface rough. Tip your board to get the colors to flow and wipe off any drips with your paper towel. Then let it dry completely. Mine took about an hour to dry. While it's drying, spend some time practicing the line design on a piece of scrap paper. First, draw a wavy line with lots of ups and downs from one side to the other. Then you can start anywhere. This design is just a series of curves stacked on top of each other. Each little shape is fat in the center and skinny on the ends, like a smile. When you shift that fat part to another direction, the design begins to curve. You can make these worm-like shapes smaller or draw a round one a few times to make it bigger. New worms can grow off things you've already drawn. I think it's fun to have a variety of sizes here. I've got thin ones and thick ones. It makes the design more interesting to look at. I'm making a spiral. Just curve your worm around until it touches a shape you've drawn and keep going with little curves. It always makes me think about cinnamon rolls. This gets easier if you practice it. Try not to make bubbly shapes like this. The curve should flow smoothly, and it helps to begin each new one partway down the sides of the previous one. If your curves are too far apart, you can fill them in with extra lines. Sometimes you'll get empty shapes that you can fill with spirals or just more curved lines. You're going to fill up this top half with the design, and then you'll turn it over and start drawing on the other side. That central line will disappear. Okay, so my painting is nice and dry, and I'm just going to leave it taped to the board, but if you want to untape it now, you can. Again, I'm drawing a center line with lots of ups and downs. Then you can start making the curves anywhere you want. I like to make mine seem like they continue off the page. Making a nice spiral here. And I could keep building off this one, but I want to go off the next little hump on my line. It's curving around and filling up that gap between them. I've made multiple worms branch off from one shape like limbs off a tree trunk, and I'm filling in some other gaps on the left. I like this big yellow shape, so I want to put something cool inside it. Sometimes your painting will tell you what to do. See how I sort of outline that deeper green area? Variety will make this picture more fun for you to draw and more fun for people to look at. My picture took about 90 minutes to complete. I don't want to bore you, so I've sped up this part of the video 22 times. Don't feel like you can draw your picture this fast. Use your imagination and get lost in it. If nothing else, this project helps you learn how to control your pen. I came up with this project during my first year of teaching. I was on the phone and doodling, and it just started to happen, so I had my students do it too, and they loved it. Pretty much every student I've taught has done this project, and some of them are almost 40 years old and they tell me they still draw it when they doodle. Every student seemed to have their own take on this thing, and some of them got pretty compulsive about it and made tiny, tiny worms. Others were looser and more playful. And I call them worms, but that's just because I have no other good word for them. Sometimes they remind me of tubes or rainbows or intestines. We always drew these on white drawing paper, but I really enjoyed working on a painted surface. I've now sped it up to 60 times as fast, and I'm about ready to turn it over. I probably should have started on the left side to keep my hand out of my lines. I'm using a Pilot G2 gel pen, but you can use any pen that doesn't get clumpy on the tip as you use it. Ballpoint pens are kind of the worst for this. I like black, but if you have some pens in different colors, that would be a totally fun thing to do. Make sure you have enough ink in yours before you commit to using a special color. And just like that, I'm done. Here's another idea. Color them in. You can do this on all of them or to highlight parts you like the most. And that's the line design. I hope you'll give this one a try. Thanks a lot for watching, and please subscribe.